This show is brought to you in part by viewers like you who joined a Patreon or become YouTube members. Thank you. And if you could, hit the like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content.
All right, got my guy JP here again, and we talked about quarterbacks, so I'll let JP get on about something that he really enjoys. Let's talk about the offensive line.
That's right.
In this video. The way I wanted to do this was I wanted to talk about offensive line prospects for every day of the draft. Because I think especially at guard, I think there is the kind of depth in the class where you could say there are guys at day 3 that you would not mind taking. The first question about this offensive line class is, what about tackle? And I do think this is an especially weak tackle class. Are there any tackles you would consider taking where the Browns are that can fill the hole at left tackle that they have?
So I think it depends on what you think of Francis Mauigoa, the Miami tackle. If you think he can play tackle, and I think he can be a good tackle. I think he can be an awesome guard. I think he has earned the right to play tackle at the NFL level. But do you risk moving him from right to left? He has never played left tackle in the NFL at college football. So I'm curious on how the NFL evaluates him. If you think he's a guard, I still would kind of draft him at 6 because I think he can be a very good guard in the NFL. But when it comes to tackles, especially in round 1, I think the guy that fits the offense the most for the Browns now is Monroe Freeling, left tackle from Georgia. Monster athlete at 6'7", 315 pounds. The movement skills are there. The ability to mirror is there. Hasn't played a lot of football, which again is sort of the big thing. He just hasn't played a lot of reps at the college level. It's very similar to an argument about Amarius Mims, who played right tackle at Georgia and now is a starting right tackle for the Bengals. So I think Monroe Freeling, he might be the best pure tackle in this class. A guy like Caleb Lomu is a guy that I've been high on since the preseason. I do worry a little bit about the play strength, and I worry a little bit about just sort of his general rawness as well. But he's 20 years old, incredibly athletic, might be one of the most athletic linemen in this class. And then you have a guy like Max Iheanacho on day that could potentially slide into day 1, especially with Freeling. I think Freeling goes a lot higher than where he's being mocked right now. With Lomu and Iheanacho, I do think those guys are more towards the number 24 pick that the Browns have. If you want to take a tackle there, those will probably be your 2 options. So if you want to take a tackle on day 1, I think those are your 2 guys at 24. Once you get past there's going to be a lot of projection. There's going to be a lot of what do we think of these guys? A guy like Blake Miller, his movement skills immediately stand out. And a guy that he's sort of similar to is a guy that Todd Monken was on the Ravens staff when they drafted him, is Roger Rosengarten, who also played right tackle at Washington, now plays right tackle for the Ravens. Movement skills are incredible. He's the one that gets out on all the screens, all the RPOs they try and run. He is out on the move. But I do worry a little bit about just the play strength, the ability to anchor. Same thing for Austin Barber, although I think Austin Barber's more of a day 3 guy now. I do think Austin Barber just doesn't have a lot of play strength. So I'd consider him more of a day 3 guy. But I think I got Demetrius Crownover from Texas A&M, incredible athlete. I believe he's a former tight end. And you can tell when he moves his feet, that's a former tight end. But again, just doesn't have a lot of experience playing tackle. Jude Bowery from Boston College is a day 2 guy that I think you could play at guard or tackle. He has a problem with 2-hand punching, and that leaves him overextended. And that's how he got beat a lot when we were down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. But I do think he has the athleticism. I think he has a pass rush plan to get guys to run around him and try and run the loop on him. But I do think he could play guard or tackle at the NFL level. And then, like I said, day 3, you're sort of stretching a little bit. You're hoping for a guy like Austin Barber in that area.
All right. On a scale, let's get back to Francis here, right? Francis Mauigoa. On a scale of I don't want to say on the spectrum, not a scale. On the spectrum of hey, this is a guard prospect that you're probably going to try at tackle. I would say probably at the lower end, there's a Will Campbell who's definitely a guard, but it's you got to try it because you drafted him that high. And then there's Tristan Wirfs, who was like, oh, actually, he's actually a generational tackle, right? Like obviously, I don't think he's gonna. I don't think it's fair to compare him to either one of those guys. But it's like, where on the like what he can do physically is he more set to be a tackle or a guard? Like, is this one of those things where it's like there's just too many questions for you to feel like he can play tackle, or is this something where it's like, yeah, I just feel like he's a better fit there at guard?
I also just think he's a better fit at guard. I have questions about his foot quickness, although he is a very patient pass protector. I worry about the foot quickness and lateral agility, especially when you run a lot of the movement stuff that Todd Monken's going to want to run in that offense. I think it might
Yes.
be a better fit for guard, but I'd say he's more in that medium if we're still on that spectrum of like Will Campbell to Tristan Wirfs. I would say he's closer to Campbell, but I still think it's sort of towing the line of being right in the middle. Where like I could see him working at tackle. I could see him being a good tackle, but I think the avenue is clearer to an all Pro Bowl guard like at the NFL level because of his ability to win on double teams, on duo blocks, ability to get vertical. And he's just, when he's not threatened by that outside shoulder or with speed to the outside, he's a monster. He has such strong hands and the vice grip. When he gets his hands on you, you're not going anywhere.
Hey, have you heard of the Sleeper app? It is a place where you can go to play fantasy football. It's also a place you can go to do picks. You can put your knowledge on the line, make some picks, and see who knows ball the most, and maybe even, be rewarded for your knowledge. Go on the Sleeper app. Make sure you sign up using the promo code Worst Take, and you'll get 100% match on up to $100 when you use the promo code Worst Take. Make sure you check out the Sleeper app.
Where?
How do you develop a tackle when you have Myles Garrett on the roster?
Good luck.
Like,
Go out there, trial by fire.
because like a lot of development is just building confidence and habits. And there's no confidence that you're going to gain when you have to install something and Myles is there and he just shits on all the work you've done over the last 3 months and just
Well, if you're
makes it
spin
all
zoned
fun.
it, spin zone is iron sharpens iron. If you are a first round pick at tackle and you want to be if you want to be the guy, like you're gonna have to go and block guys like that.
Well, not really. There's one guy like that. But I would argue, though, is it iron sharpening iron or is it diamond scratching tempered glass? Like,
That saying about pressure, like it makes diamonds, it also bursts pipes. So I think
yeah,
that's a more apt comparison.
I saw Jed Wills, right? If you look at Jed Wills' career trajectory, it's like, okay, he's going to be a solid tackle, maybe a disappointment for the 10th pick, but he's going to have an NFL career. And then Myles Garrett took that leap in his career where he became like back-to-back defensive player of the year. And then like Jed Wills' career just went to shit at that exact same point. Like he took a year off football, JP. I have to imagine like
demoralizing.
Yeah. Like if you were an offensive line coach and you know that struggle is there, like how do you manage that when you're trying to develop somebody? Because you have to think about that. Because like that's not a normal guy. You could develop a lot of bad habits as a tackle, getting used to blocking Myles Garrett. Because if you block everybody like you block Myles Garrett, you're probably going to open yourself up to holes that, wouldn't be there if you were just trying to play straight up, like it's he's an alien.
I do think it comes down to like if you have a good offensive line coach, you can be like, look, sometimes that guy's gonna get you. It's like trying to defend like Kobe, and it's like sometimes Kobe's gonna score, like he's gonna get his point, he's gonna get his shots off. There are gonna be turnaround jumpers that you just are like, I'm there and he just made it over me. That's tough. That's basketball, but as long as you're making it difficult, like I think you're doing a good job.
I would argue that might have been part of the reason why Kobe's teammates seemed to not elevate while he was there on certain ends of the floor, especially the people who had the expectation of guarding him in the playoff. I mean, at practice, I don't know. I think that's a hurdle that they have to figure out because I think it's really having an impact on their ability to develop these guys. Like they go out there and they're like doing shit that you're like, why are you doing this? Or they like have no confidence by the time they get to the end of the week. And it's like Miles got to get his work in. Like he can't just not practice all summer, all week. He's got to go up against somebody. We're like, who the fuck takes that bullet? Because it's not good for the person that has to eat that. That's just not fun. You know, I think it was the left tackle for the Eagles talking about how glad he is that joint practice is only 2 days.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it's like, and that's like he's in his career right now. Like he's still got to play Myles Garrett. He's active, saying that kind of stuff. I can't imagine what that's like on like a random Tuesday in Berea. He all pissed off because the offense didn't score on Sunday.
Yeah, like sometimes again, like he gonna get you. You just gotta make sure that he don't get you enough to make you lose your job or end up on the wrong side of a TikTok highlight.
Hey man. That's tough. I wonder if like we just like see a line when Miles retires or he's not on the Browns anymore. We're like, oh, we actually developed the left tackle. I wonder that's going to be related. Like,
I think that'd be hilarious.
It's funny too because we went from having Joe Thomas at left tackle, he retires, and then Myles Garrett, right? Like, and by the way, a huge factor in Joe Thomas retiring is Myles Garrett. So like, Joe saw it coming. He was like, I'm not doing this shit.
He's like, enough.
I'm good, bro. All right, let's talk about some of the interior class because I think that's where this class gets a lot more interesting is at the guard position. We were at the Senior Bowl in Mobile. I think even at East West there were a couple of guys who kind of stood out too from the interior. But what are your thoughts on the class? And if you had to go through day by day, some guys who are interesting to you here in this class?
I really like this interior offensive line class. I think you got to start with Vega Ioane, the Penn State offensive guard. I think his ability to finish blocks. I think he's another guy where like he's not necessarily the fleetest of foot because I just think he's an okay athlete, but he finishes blocks. He plays with a physical attitude. I think he has nice angles on his duo blocks. So I think that fits in terms of the gap scheme stuff. I do wonder about his range. Not only draft range, but how rangy he is when it comes to moving in space and hitting moving targets. Once you get past that, it also depends on what you think of Spencer Fano and Caden Proctor. I think both guys probably are better at guard for two completely different reasons. Spencer Fano is incredible mover, just like such a smooth guy at tackle, but he has short arms. He's also a little bit on the smaller side, and he's also a little lighter. So how sustainable is that at tackle where like you move him to guard and you could be like a really good guard in like a wide zone offense, but that's not what the Browns are running very much. And then you look at Proctor. I think Proctor's a guard because I think he's too big to be a tackle. I just think I think sometimes he just gets threatened to his outside shoulder and he loses the speed. So I think you kick him inside where you can use more of that natural power and athleticism. I think that works really well for him. Day two, I really love Chase Pizantis from Texas A&M. One of the best interior pass protectors in this entire class. He's a really smart player. He's got strong hands, and his ability to get the first punch is really nice. And then Keelan Rutledge is one of my favorite players in this entire draft class. There was a game against Clemson, I think, where they're playing at home, and his nose is just busted. No, he is just bleeding. And you could see like the blood on the jersey. They're wearing the white and gold. It's just like incredible offensive lineman aesthetic. So I do think he has that same like mentality to finish blocks. He's a great puller. They use him a lot on their power read stuff. Again, sort of worried about his range and like his mobility when it comes to pass protection, especially when guys get to his outside shoulder. But I think if he probably worked best in a Monken offense. And then one guy on day three that I'm really interested in is Jalen Farmer from Kentucky. Was also at the Senior Bowl. Big dude, big, long arms, heavy hands. And again, when he hits you, like when he times it up, you're moving backwards. And he had guys in vice grips for a large part of the Senior Bowl practices. I was really impressed with how he played. So those are the guys I think really stood out.
Yeah. If you had to rank this guard class by violence, who are the most violent guards that you have there?
Oh, first up is Keelan Rutledge. I think he just brings a level of nasty that every football fan is gonna love.
By the way,
Um,
Georgia Tech plays just real ethical football,
oh
man.
yes, like they
Real
are
ethical
running
philosophy.
QB power or power read all the time. It does not matter what's happening. Um, I do think if you consider Proctor a guard, I do think Proctor has some nastiness to his game. Jalen Farmer as well would be up there. Um, ooh, who else?
What's the prospect of like getting Proctor and telling him to lose weight? Like, do you think that's going to be appealing for him as like a tackle prospect for some people, where they plan for him to like just lose what? How many pounds does he need to drop?
It depends on what he shows up at the combine in Indianapolis. So
Yeah.
I do think there is a little bit of like they fudge the numbers at universities. Like we were at the Senior Bowl. Alabama had a guy there, LT Overton, who was listed at 6'5" by the Alabama football roster. And he was not 6'5". He was like 6'2".
Mm.
So like they sort of fudge the numbers a little bit. Um, Proctor, I believe, is listed. I'm going to the Alabama website. He is listed at 6'7", 366 pounds.
No shot. No
I think if you can
shot.
get down to like 340, like we're cooking with gas there.
Yeah.
Like I think Orlando Brown Jr. like is the best case scenario for him.
Mm.
And Orlando Brown Jr. 6'8", 350.
Yeah.
So he's like 15 pounds over Orlando Brown Jr. So if he can get into the 345, 350 range, I feel a lot more comfortable with him at tackle. But I do think he just maximizes at best at guard.
Yeah. Yeah. 377 in college.
366.
366 in college. And there's no way he's actually, is he 6'7" for real?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He's as big as the Big Show. Like prime Big Show. That was what he
That
weighed.
that's like prime you remember the Big Show and Kane tag team?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah. That's just meat right there on the line. All right. Let's talk about some centers real quick. Jake Slaughter, I thought he was interesting at the Senior Bowl, at center specifically. Were there any other prospects that you see at the center position?
Sam Hecht from Kansas State had a really impressive Senior Bowl. I thought he did really well. Outside of the Senior Bowl and senior prospects, I like Connor Liu
Mm-hmm.
quite a bit. I think he had a massive injury that started this season that sort of took him out, but he's incredibly young. I believe he's one of the other prospects who are going to be like 20 on draft night. I have to go back and check that, but he's also incredibly young. I think he'd be a lot higher thought of if he didn't get hurt during the season. But outside of like Slaughter, um, Lou and Sam Hecht, I do think there are some interesting center prospects. I think Brian Parker from Duke is another guy that might be a Graham Barton tackle to center convert. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious how this center class shakes out.
Yeah, I saw Brian Parker at the East West game, and he was trying to play center. It was pretty clear it was like his first time ever playing it, like in that environment. He kind of struggled, but they put him at guard. He was pretty fine there in some one-on-one situations. So I think that there's probably, if he gets used to center, he could probably be good there. Um, you know, what is it? The short arms is why he can't play
Yeah,
anything other than center.
yeah.
How short are his arms?
I don't know if we have a
We have like
verified measurement
30.
on that.
You got to be at like
Let's
30
see.
inch arms.
Uh, I think it's 32. Yeah,
Mm.
32 and a quarter.
32 and a quarter. All right. All in all, if you're the Browns, do you feel good about your ability to use the combination of, some free agency and primarily the draft to rebuild the offensive line, at least to a point to where maybe you get your tackle this year, maybe you don't, but you feel like you can fill in the gaps next year but still be solid this year offensive line wise?
I think you could, but again, like the Browns might need a new starting left and right tackle. Also, might need a new starting left and right guard. So
New
you
starting
you got
center too. So the
you're
whole thing.
you're gonna need all five. So this is
Yeah,
not going
the
to
center
be
got
a
both the centers got hurt, season-ending injuries, lower extremity. Wyatt's probably gone, but you might be able to bring him back. Joe's retiring or not coming back, and then you could keep Dewan at right tackle if you really want to, but then left tackle. I mean, we didn't have a starter to begin with.
the issue is the tackle class also not that great in free agency.
Yeah,
Like you're thinking Braden Smith or Rasheed Walker at tackles, and Braden Smith's a career right tackle, Rasheed Walker's career left tackle. Like maybe you invest in that, but how much are you paying those guys? I mean, Dan Moore just got $20 million last year, and he was awful. So I don't know if they're going to be able to do it in 1 year, but I do think if you just, I think they should double dip on the first 2 days at tackle or offensive line in general. Just double dip and just see if you can just get a combination of like more bodies up front.
yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Is like you're probably not going to solve the whole thing this year. But maybe you put some glue at a guard position. You can get Zeitler or something, have him play for a year. And then I don't know what you're going to do at tackle. That's the difficult one because it's like I'm not giving Rasheed Walker $22 million after he just walked into the airport with the 9 on him. Like, that's kind of crazy. Especially like since he's not good at any of the stuff that you want to do in the Todd Monken offense too, right? Like he doesn't move and block well in space as a run blocker, which would make him pretty useless. He's a fine pass protector, but there are other issues there with him. Yeah, I mean, like you're probably looking at like what maybe the Linderbaum market is ridiculous too. Like
Oh,
22
Linderbaum's going to get a bag from
It's
somebody.
from like, and his team isn't interested in that bag. That
No.
that's I don't know. Like, how much do you really want to pay for a center?
I
That
mean, if you
is
really
like
want to get
notably
like
not the best
value
center in the
signing,
league.
Connor McGovern might be your best option. Cade Mays is really young, but I don't know. Like the Panthers might decide to keep Cade Mays because he was looking pretty good when Austin Corbett got hurt.
Yeah, I'm going Jake Slaughter. I'm going Kalen Rutledge, and give me one of those first round offensive line, either Lomu or Francis, and try to play him at tackle, and I can move him at guard if somebody better comes available next year. Put some glue at DeJuan Jones. Let's see how long you stay healthy out there at right tackle, and then probably sign like what? Who could be a backup swing? What's Jonah Williams? How much that gonna cost? Like $4 million for Jonah?
Um, ooh, I mean, maybe. Uh, he's getting 10 million already, or he's getting 15 million right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he got 15. He's going to hit the market again. I imagine that number goes down. I'm thinking at most he gets 8.
Maybe like Trey Pipkins. The most curious free agent name is Elijah Vera Tucker, guard for the Jets. Because he is
Yes.
good when healthy, can't stay healthy. Do the Browns want to invest in another good guard when healthy, but can't stay healthy?
Well, do we want to transfer the Jack Conklin experience to guard? Is what
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think if you get out the draft and you can go guard that you feel like could start, center you feel like could start, and then somebody you can give a try at left tackle, and then I feel like you can do enough in free agency to just put a group together for that year and then try to fill out the rest next year.
I think that's probably the best
your
option.
best bet. Yeah. Let's get violent on the offensive line, or just go all in on like, hey, we're just gonna have one identity and just like lean into that, to make it easier on yourself to scout. Because you try to do everything, it's gonna be pretty difficult. But that's the offense. Any other things you want to throw in there about the offensive line class? Any like blocking tight ends you want to throw in there or fullback guys? Like, do you think there's anybody who could be a Pat Ricard in this class? It would take a while.
Oh,
But
no. I don't think a guy like Pat Ricard's going to come around again.
No, you got to make a guy like Pat Ricard, right? Like,
yeah, you got to find a real special set of skills to get a Pat Ricard. So outside of that, I don't think they're going to get a guy like him.
You think the Browns go after Pat in free
Yes,
agency? Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure it's an interesting matchup where it's like, hey man, there's one team that needs a Pat Ricard, and there's one Pat Ricard.
Exactly, it's like match made in heaven.
Yeah, easy $5 million a year, right? Like, or $3 to $5 million a year. Give him that, because there's just it's so hard to replace what he brings to what they want to do. I think like I was looking at some of their 2023 stuff. He plays like 8 different positions on that tape. It's ridiculous. And I know some people have mentioned like, oh, maybe they think Aiden Huntington could do it. And I'm like, guys, the scope of what Aiden Huntington was doing, nothing to what Pat Ricard's out here doing.
To put in perspective, like Pat Ricard is legitimately like 6'3", 300 plus pounds.
Yes.
Aiden Huntington is a fun player. He is a good 2 inches shorter and 20 pounds lighter.
Yeah, we're talking about probably like the only parallel to him, and it's a very different parallel, is like a Darnell Washington.
Yeah. Or the Chargers have like Tucker Fisk and Scott Matlock, but neither of those guys are as good as Pat Ricard at what they do.
Yeah. So that's good to know there as well. We're going to continue chatting with JP over the course of the week, but this is our conversation about the offensive line, y'all.